Lindsey Graham, who has some very strong thoughts about the ICC. You'll recall earlier this week, I think it was, or last week, I should say, the ICC came back with arrest warrants for both Netanyahu and Gallant in Israel. And I think one remaining Hamas official
right.
Who remains alive, Karim Khan, the prosecutor. Again, and we read this at the time, he was seeking these arrest warrants. He was Israel's choice to replace the other prosecutor, and they've intimidated both of them. Apparently, Karim Khan did not behave in the way that the Israelis wanted him to, or maybe he was just, overwhelmed by the evidence. Now, let's also be clear. Khan was encouraged to issue these arrest warrants by I think it was a former Israeli judge who was also, I think, a Holocaust survivor.
Yes, that I saw that as well. He's 94 years old, something like that.
And I have it here somewhere. But nevertheless, we in the United States are not subscribed essentially to the ICC jurisdiction, but yet, and I really appreciate Lindsey Graham here, he is saying, well, maybe we should use our muscle because just because we're not subscribed, we should at the very least encourage those who are. Wouldn't you think, he says?
There's an arrest warrant for Putin by the ICC for kidnapping children in Ukraine and taking them to Russia. Is that pretty much it, right?
Yep.
If Putin came to the United States for whatever reason, would we turn him over to the ICC?
Well, I can't get ahead of that because obviously I have to look at the laws and rules. As you know, we're not actually a party to the ICC, so I don't want to engage in that hypothetical. But
I would encourage you that if he came here, we should turn him over.
Now, I don't think he has any plans to travel here soon.
Yeah. Well, would you encourage our European allies to turn him over?
I think that anyone who is a party to the court and has obligations should fulfill their obligations.
Okay.
All right, that seems fair. Obviously, if you're a party to the court, you should fulfill your obligations. I'm glad that Lindsey Graham is taking that position. Oh, but wait, that was all the way back, and this was a totally different world then. I don't know if you remember this, 2023. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking the second half of 2023. I'm talking the first quarter of 2023, March of 2023. When, that's almost, I can't even count how many months that is, 20 months ago, maybe 16, because things have obviously radically changed. Here's Lindsey Graham on Fox just on Friday.
This is a direct threat to the state of Israel. There have been more resolutions condemning Israel in the UN than every other nation, all the nations combined. It's the anti-Semitic body, and this court is trying to literally put in jail the Prime Minister of Israel, the Defense Minister, for defending itself against multiple terrorist organizations. What will I do? If you are going to help the ICC as a nation enforce their arrest warrant against Bibi and Gallant, the former defense minister, I will put sanctions on you as a nation. You're going to have to pick the rogue ICC versus America. I'm working with Tom Cotton to have legislation passed as soon as we can to sanction any country that aids and abets the arrest of any politician in Israel. What they're doing in Israel is trying to prevent a second Holocaust. So to any ally, Canada, Britain, Germany, France, if you try to help the ICC, we're going to sanction you.
Jesus. I'd like to sanction whoever did Lindsey's makeup job for that appearance, because he looks like he has a bunch of SPF on his face. Looks like crap. Piece of garbage. But he'll say yes to any media
Now, let's be
so.
clear that while Graham is talking about passing legislation to sanction the ICC, Joe Biden was on the phone with Macron over the weekend saying, why are you doing this? And Macron was like, well, because I'm a party to the ICC and it's my obligations. And remember that whole mumbo jumbo about international rules-based order?
Right.
You effed that up, didn't you?
He was also essentially accusing Macron of not being able to be a neutral party in the negotiations, because I guess they're included as well in some of the ceasefire talks. It's like, you want to look in the mirror, Joe, about who can and cannot be a neutral party? Because
Yeah,
he was
it's
saying,
insane.
like, the fact that you would abide by the ICC obligations means he's inherently biased. I mean, Macron must be anti-Semitic too, is what I'm hearing.
But the ICC obligations require him to arrest also leadership from Hamas.
I don't think that the general, American politician can understand the idea of really meaning what they say when they abide by international law. I guess we're going to be sanctioning Canada. Are we going to be sanctioning Mexico? Two really important partners of ours from the North and the South. Claudia Sheinbaum, the first female president of Mexico, also a Jewish woman, supports Palestine, wears a keffiyeh. Should we be sanctioning them as well?
She's nominally Jewish.
Yeah, apparently.
Isn't that the saying for all the Pope of the Jews out there?
That was
They're
the
nominally Jewish.
I would say if you're trying to run a campaign on how could you vote for the guy who did falsified some financial documents while you're doing this, it doesn't really land the same way.
No.
No.
That's that. I mean, at least, I guess, thank goodness we have Lindsey Graham on.
And I'm just glad that Netanyahu can't vacation everywhere he wants to go now. I mean, there's some...
Well, did we talk about the Yoav Gallant thing? They're bringing him straight here just to show that actually we're not going to arrest any of these people. Bringing him to the United States, he's going to make a visit, and he's not even actually involved in war planning, but just come visit to show that middle finger to the ICC. It's heinous, and it's international law. Yeah, I had never seen it.
I'm in favor of Canada intercepting the airplane.
Please.
Not letting him fly.
The one
land
thing,
yeah.
The one
Didn't
thing
they
this
do
could
that
be,
with? Didn't we do that with?
Well, Erdogan had that weird thing with the plane, but that was like a sort of a coup thing. But I can't remember who. Yeah, there's another thing. Central American leader, I think.
Yeah, wait a second.
All right, while you think about this, just the one thing I want people to watch out for is if Netanyahu becomes, down the line, such a liability for the rest of the Israeli leadership, that may be the one thing where he actually could get turned over to the ICC. If they finally find him to be too unpalatable and they want a Gallant or someone who has a more centrist veneer to take over the Israeli government. I still think that's a long shot, but that's the more likely situation than him, I'm going to go to Italy anyway for my vacation and not get arrested.
It was Assange. Didn't we intercept Assange's plane? That's what it was. Hey, Donald Trump has once again told us just how far he's willing to go to get his way. The other day, he suggested the use of military force on Election Day and after against the enemy from within, or known as left-wing Americans. Everyone knows it was his base that stormed the Capitol, but that's not stopping the right from reporting Trump's supporters aren't the ones to worry about. But the great thing about ground news is no matter what article you see first, you're going to get instant access to every other perspective reporting on it. So in there, you will find the truth. Now, we keep working with our longtime sponsors because A, they're independent, B, they're nonpartisan, and C, they're dedicated to exposing any hidden agenda that's influencing the news you consume. This way, you get media literate. You can follow their newsletters or check out their app and their website. Easily stay informed through diverse and credible sources. Plus, for me, my Vantage plan gets me access to features designed to expose opposing narratives that are exclusively circulating in their bubble and also expose me to ones that I may be stuck in a bubble of, my own blind spots. So we all know Trump and his base are only going to ramp up the lies. Go to ground.news/majority or scan my QR code for credible news you can trust and confidently share with others. My viewers get a massive discount on the same top-tier Vantage plan I use every day. With everything at stake, We can't afford not to pay attention. Subscribe today because the fight for democracy doesn't stop after November 5th. It's just getting started.